Last year on FX, an anthology series began called American Crime Story. In the first series, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Now I know this is about a year late, but I recently watched it and it's something I have to discuss. And trust me, this is a good one. Hey guys, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Now before I talk about too much, let's talk about something with Cuba Gooding Jr. real fast. Finally something good that Cuba Gooding Jr. is in. It has been a very long time in my opinion since he's been in something he's actually good in, that actually gets favorable reviews. Once again, it's The People vs. O.J. Simpson, and we're gonna talk about it. So American Crime Story, like I said, is an anthology series, and the first season was The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Now, for this review, I just figured I would call it a series review, because that's basically what it is. Because basically the entire first season is a whole series, because the second season will have nothing to do with anything that happened in the first season. So if I review any more of these, I'm just going to call them a series review, because that's really what the first season was, is a whole entire series. It's just got the American Crime Story label on it. Now, The People vs. O.J. Simpson is based around the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman on June 12, 1994. It's all about the trial involving O.J. Simpson and how it all plays out from the moment that they are killed all the way to the verdict. It's very, very interesting, and there was actually a documentary out back last year revolving around the same thing that was, some people would say is a little better because it's all just real footage and it was like 8 hours and it was just really well put together. But I really enjoyed this over that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is in a little bit. Now, Cuba Gooding Jr. plays O.J. Simpson. Weird, right? Yeah. I honestly wasn't the biggest fan of him in that role. I'm going to talk about all the cast in a little bit, and I think that the cast is amazing, but who they chose for O.J. Simpson was just a little weird. Like, I feel like he plays him very well, but just the way that, just how small he is, it just doesn't really look like O.J. Simpson compared to a lot of the other cast members. But he did still have an excellent performance. It just isn't who I would have expected them to cast as O.J. Simpson. How about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? No, I'm completely kidding. Now keep in mind, this show is all about a trial. It's about, you know, everything that happens to O.J. Simpson during this time, everybody that was close to him, which is mostly everyone all the relationships that he had around him during this time, which is mainly meant the lawyers, basically everybody, the attorneys, everybody that it was involved in the case. There are also some smaller roles, such as Malcolm Jamal Warner playing A.L. Cowlings, I believe it is, and a couple other people that were close to him, but most of the main cast is lawyers and attorneys and pretty much everyone involved in the law part of this. Now, one of these lawyers is Robert Shapiro, played by John Travolta, he was an excellent choice. I think he did a great job in this. Then we have David Schwimmer as Robert Kardashian. The one and only. Pretty much the reason to blame why the Kardashians are so famous nowadays. Not entirely, but Robert Kardashian was actually, if you really take a look at it, now this is just getting away from the show, but if you really take a look at him, it was really Kris Jenner that had that influence on him, because Robert Kardashian, he was a great guy if you like read into it and read how he felt about being famous and that sort of thing. But yeah. I don't even know what I'm rambling about. He died years ago. Just kind of want to put that out there because it kind of sounds like I'm talking bad about him when he isn't to blame for that at all. Also, while we're still on that, David Schwimmer. Yes, you heard me right. David Schwimmer. Ross.
Chandler told me.
Chandler. When did he?
And Melman from Madagascar. But no, he is excellent in the show. He was by far my favorite character in the entire show. So that was a pretty big surprise because I love Friends, I love Ross, but would not have expected him in a role like this. We have Sarah Paulson as Marcia Clark. Courtney B. Vance as Johnny Cochran, the one and only, pretty famous lawyer back in the 90s.
I'll get Dershowitz or Cochran to represent me.
There's Sterling K. Knight as, what's his name? Chris Darden. Selma Blair as Kris Jenner. Kenneth Choi as Lance Ito, he was basically the judge during this whole thing. And my personal favorite, Nathan Lane as F. Lee Bailey. Now those of you who don't know, Nathan Lane was the voice of Timon in The Lion King. And it shows sometimes. Sometimes I'll be watching the show, and it's in the moments where he gets really heated up. You can kind of hear like that, I guess, cartoonish voice come out, and just like that energy come out. So I was watching the show, and all of a sudden, this is what I would expect to happen.
I can see what's happening. What? And they don't have a clue. Who?
But anyway, the cast was phenomenal and it seriously made this show what it was because they just did a fantastic job at portraying all the characters. Now, I enjoyed every episode of the show because every episode has a different aspect of the parts of the trial. Like there's one all about the jury and just the hell that they had to go through being stuck in this hotel for months, not expecting this trial to go on this long. It goes into certain aspects that I'll kind of talk about later that play into the show. But although all the episodes were great, I would say the first two are the best. The first two were really what got me hooked into the show, and after those were over, I had to finish it. And the rest of it was great, but these first two were just amazing. The first episode starts with them finding Nicole and Ron's dead bodies. Somebody finds them, and it kind of goes from there all the way to when the white Bronco is gone, when OJ has escaped basically, and he's run off, even though they were supposed to bring him in. Both Roberts, Shapiro and Kardashian were supposed to bring him in. One of my favorite parts in the first episode involved Robert Kardashian and OJ, and they are basically both in Kim Kardashian's room. OJ's about to kill himself, and this actually happened, and it's a very powerful scene, very emotional scene, and it was by far probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole entire series.
OJ, no, please. This is where my daughter sleeps. Come on, OJ, please. Do not kill yourself in Kimmy's bedroom. Give me the gun. Give me the gun. Come on. We can beat this thing together. We all love you. We all love you. Your kids love you. God loves you.
As I just brought up the Kardashians are actually in this. Yes. Chloe, Courtney, and Kim are in this. Why? I didn't understand that. I think they were trying to pull in like some of the other audiences by including them because they're only in a couple episodes. Like they're in like the first 4 and then they're just gone. You never see them again. It's really weird. And it didn't really take away too much, but there's sometimes where it's like, why are they here?
Kardashian.
Anyway, back to those episodes. The second episode was all about the chase, and that was a fantastic episode. I loved that. Malcolm Jamal Warner, this is like one of the only episodes he's in. He did a great job in this episode here. He's the one who drove the Bronco as OJ was in the back with the gun up to his head. This whole entire chase scene was amazing, especially with the use of Sabotage by the Beastie Boys in the background, and it was awesome.
Oh my God, there's a white Bronco behind us right now.
Liar. There isn't.
Serious, look.
Now, the rest of the show after that, it can be slow at times, but not entirely. Like, what I mean by that is there's not a lot going on. You know, it's not like high-paced stuff. It's all kind of like all about the law and certain stuff that's happening, but it's still very entertaining and captivating watching how this all plays out. So although it may seem slow to some, I thought it was pretty great because I usually don't enjoy these kind of shows, and maybe it's because it was on a true story and it was interesting, but I just happen to really enjoy it. Everything that happens is reenacted perfectly, and it's so easy for me to like believe that all this is happening too, because it feels like the actual thing. It doesn't feel like it's being reenacted. The whole entire cast did such an amazing job that it is just all just perfect in that way. Now the flashbacks in the show is something I really liked as well. There's multiple times at the beginning of episodes there's flashbacks, like there's one where OJ has a flashback, Cochran has a flashback. There's just a couple great scenes like that. I know there's more, but I can't entirely remember. But those were some of my favorite scenes. I thought they really helped with the character development since we only got 10 episodes, but they were able to build these characters up so perfectly. The cinematic elements, including the cinematography, the score was great, and it felt more like a really long movie rather than a TV series, which I love shows that are like that, so that was awesome. Here are my final thoughts. This show is perfect. It is a great crime drama. It's a great reenactment. It got nominated for plenty of Emmys. I think it won 2. I forget what the second one was. I know it won a Golden Globe as well. I don't remember exactly what that was for. It was one of the best shows of 2016. For me, Stranger Things was my favorite show of 2016, but I could still probably say this was the best show of 2016. I really liked it, and my rating for it is going to be an A+. Yeah, I loved it. Now, let me explain a little more about why I gave it an A+. Now, it's just, I don't usually enjoy crime dramas, and this one just blew me away. I was so surprised how much I liked it. The cast was amazing, even with some of the people that you wouldn't expect to be that great. I mean, who expected Ross and Timon to really steal the show in any way? I mean, it was great, and I loved that. And there was only 10 episodes, but so much happened, and it was just so entertaining. The verdict, which was the final episode, was very powerful, and it's great. I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend you check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's on Netflix, and it's pretty good. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out my social media links below, and if you haven't yet, click subscribe, comment, like. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite crime drama, and what did you think of this show? I'd really love to hear that. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.